Hey everyone, welcome back to Podcast with Ali and Aiza. I'm Ali and I'm here with my friend Aiza. How you doing today, Aiza?
I'm doing great, Allie. I'm really excited about today's episode because we're going to talk about something that so many English learners struggle with. It's about listening, and I think a lot of people feel frustrated when they listen to English.
Oh yes, listening can feel really hard sometimes. I remember when I was learning English, I would listen to someone speaking and I'd think, wait, what did they say? I missed that word. And then I'd miss the next part too because I was still thinking about that one word.
Exactly. That happens to everyone. And today we want to share something that can really help. We're going to talk about a simple way to understand English better when you listen. It's not about knowing every single word, it's about focusing on the right things.
Yes, and by the end of our conversation today, you'll be able to listen to English in a much more relaxed way. You won't feel stressed about missing words. You'll understand the main idea, and that's what matters most.
That's right. So let's start with a question, Allie. When you listen to English now, do you try to understand every word?
Well, I used to do that. I really did. I thought that was the right way. Like, if I don't understand every word, then I'm not really understanding. But actually, that's not true. Even native speakers don't catch every single word when someone is talking.
That's so true. Native speakers don't understand every word either. Sometimes the music is too loud, or there's noise in the background, or someone is speaking really fast, but they still understand what's happening. So how do they do it?
Well, they focus on the important words. They listen for the words that carry the main meaning. We call these the stressed words. When someone speaks English, some words are stronger, louder, they stand out more. And those are usually the words that tell you what the sentence is really about.
Right, the stressed words. So let me give you an example. If I say, I live in a town near London, which words do you hear more clearly?
I hear live, town, and London. Those words are stronger. They have more weight.
Exactly. You don't really hear the little words like I or in or as much. They're there, but they're quieter. The important information is in those stressed words live, town, London. And if you just catch those three words, you already understand the main idea.
Yes, and this is really helpful because when you're learning English, you might not know every small word yet, but if you can catch the stressed words, you can still understand what's happening. You get the overall meaning. We call that the gist.
The gist. That's a useful word. The gist means the main idea, the general meaning. You don't need all the details right away. You just need the gist first.
So let's think about this in a real situation. Imagine you're at a coffee shop and someone says to you, I bought this amazing cake from the bakery on the corner. Now, maybe you don't catch every word perfectly, but if you hear bought, cake, bakery, and corner, you understand enough, right?
Absolutely. You know they bought a cake from a bakery nearby. You got the gist. You don't need to understand every tiny word to know what happened. And this is what native speakers do all the time. They focus on the key information.
Isa, I think one reason this is so important is because English has a special rhythm. It's not like some other languages where every sound gets the same stress. In English, we have this pattern. Some words are strong, some words are weak, and that creates a kind of music.
That's a nice way to describe it. It's like a beat. Let me say that sentence again. I live in a town near London. Can you hear the rhythm? Da da da, da da da. It's like a drum beat almost.
I can hear it. And now let me try a longer sentence with the same stressed words. I've been living in this small town just near London for many years. Listen to where the stress falls. Living, town, London, years. Even though the sentence is much longer, the stress is in similar places.
Yes, and that's what makes English feel the way it does. The stressed words happen at regular intervals, like a rhythm in music. And when you start to notice this rhythm, listening becomes so much easier.
It really does. Now, let's talk about something else that's interesting. The stress can actually change the meaning a little depending on what information is most important.
Oh, that's true. Let's use the same sentence again. If I say, I live in a town near London, the stress is pretty even on those main words. But what if someone just asked me, do you live far from London? Then I might answer, no, I live in a town near London. I'm stressing the word near more because that's the new information I want to emphasize.
Right. You're making it clear that it's not far, it's near. So the stress changed a bit. And if someone said, oh, so you don't live in London itself, you might say, no, I live in a town near London, stressing the word town to show the difference.
Exactly. So stress helps show what's most important in that moment. And as a listener, when you notice which words are stressed, you understand not just the words, but also what the speaker really wants to say.
That's really powerful. Now, I want to talk about something that I think stops a lot of learners from improving. It's the feeling that you need to be perfect, that you need to understand everything. But actually, that's not realistic.
It's not. And you know what? Even if you speak English your whole life, there will be moments when you don't catch something. Maybe someone is speaking in a noisy place, or they have an accent you're not used to, or they're using words you've never heard before. That's completely normal.
So, what do native speakers do in those situations? They use strategies. They don't panic. They use the context to help them understand. Context means the situation, the topic, the other words around it.
Right. Let's say you're watching a movie and two people are talking about food. You hear one person say, I love the something from that restaurant. You didn't catch one word, but because they're talking about food and restaurants, you can guess it's probably a type of food. Maybe pasta, maybe pizza, maybe a dessert. The context helps you.
And that's a really important skill, guessing from context. You don't just give up. You use what you do understand to figure out what you don't understand. And the more you practice this, the better you get at it.
Let me share a story. Last week, I was listening to a podcast in English about travel. The speaker was talking really fast, and I missed a few words here and there. But I didn't stop and rewind. I just kept listening. And you know what? I still understood the whole story because I caught the stressed words. I heard trip, beach, beautiful, relaxing, family. I got the gist.
That's perfect. You didn't let the small missing pieces stop you from enjoying the podcast. And that's the mindset we want everyone to have. Don't stress about every single word. Focus on the main idea first.
So let's practice this a little bit. I'm going to say a sentence, and I want you, our listeners, to notice which words feel stronger. Are you ready? Here it is. My brother is studying medicine at the university. Now think about it. Which words did you hear most clearly?
I heard brother, studying, medicine, and university. Those are the content words, the ones that carry the meaning. The little words like my, is, at, and the are there, but they're softer.
Exactly. Now let me say another sentence. We're planning a trip to the mountains next month. Listen for the stressed words. Planning, trip, mountains, month. Did you catch those?
Yes, and even if someone didn't know the word planning perfectly, they would still hear trip, mountains, and month, and they'd understand that someone is going to the mountains soon.
That's right. You get the gist, and that's the goal. Now let's talk about how you can practice this skill at home, in your daily life.
Oh yes, because understanding this idea is great, but you need to practice it to really make it part of your listening ability. So here's one thing you can do. Listen to something short in English, maybe a conversation, maybe a short video, just 2 or 3 minutes. And don't try to write down every word. Just write down the words that sound stressed, the strong words.
That's a really good exercise. So you're training your ears to notice the stressed words. And then after you write those down, you can listen again and see if you can add a few more details. But start with the stressed words first.
Another thing you can do is listen to longer content, like a podcast or a news story, without stopping. Don't look up words, don't pause, just listen the whole way through. Your goal is to understand the general topic, the main points. You're not studying every detail. You're just listening like a native speaker would.
I love that advice because sometimes we feel like we have to study everything so carefully, but actually, we also need to practice relaxed listening, just enjoying the content and getting the overall message.
And here's really important, and I know some people won't like hearing this, but try to listen without subtitles sometimes.
Oh, I know that's hard. Subtitles feel so helpful, right? You can read along and check every word.
Yes, but the problem is that subtitles make you focus on every single word. You're reading, so you're trying to catch everything. But that's not how real listening works. In real life, there are no subtitles, so sometimes you need to practice without them.
That's true. And you know what? At first, it might feel uncomfortable. You might miss things, but that's okay. You're training your brain to focus on the stressed words and the overall meaning, not every little detail.
Exactly. And you don't have to do this all the time. Maybe start with something you've already watched before, so you already know the story. Then try it without subtitles. You'll be surprised how much you can still understand.
Another tip, and this one is really important, listen to English every day. Even if it's just for 20 minutes or 30 minutes, make it part of your routine.
Yes, because listening is like exercise for your ears and your brain. The more you do it, the stronger you get. You could listen in the morning while you're getting ready, or on your way to work, or while you're cooking dinner, or before you go to sleep.
And it doesn't have to feel like hard work. You can listen to things you enjoy. Maybe you like music, so listen to English songs. Maybe you like stories, so listen to audiobooks or podcasts. Maybe you're interested in news or science or cooking. There's so much content in English about every topic.
The key is to make it a habit. If you listen for just 30 minutes every day, that's 3.5 hours every week. That's a lot of listening practice.
And over time, you'll notice something amazing. You'll start to understand more without even trying hard. Your brain will get used to the rhythm of English, the stressed words, the patterns. It becomes more natural.
Now, let's practice together with you, our listeners. I'm going to say a few sentences, and I want you to listen carefully. Try to notice the stressed words. Don't worry about the small words, just catch the main ones. Are you ready?
And after Ollie says them, we'll talk about which words were stressed. So just relax and listen.
Okay, here's the first one. She's going to visit her grandmother this weekend. Listen again. She's going to visit her grandmother this weekend. Which words did you hear most clearly?
I heard visit, grandmother, and weekend. Those are the stressed words, the important information. Now try saying it with me. She's going to visit her grandmother this weekend. Just repeat after me. Visit, grandmother, weekend.
Good. Let's try another one. I really enjoyed the movie we watched last night. One more time. I really enjoyed the movie we watched last night. What did you hear?
The stressed words are enjoyed, movie, and night. Those words tell you the main idea. Now you say it. I enjoyed the movie last night. You can even make it simpler if you want. Enjoyed, movie, night. That's the core meaning right there.
Perfect. One more sentence. They're planning to open a new restaurant downtown. Listen carefully. They're planning to open a new restaurant downtown. What are the stressed words?
I heard planning, open, restaurant, and downtown. If you just catch those 4 words, you understand the whole message. Someone is opening a restaurant in the downtown area. You got the gist.
And that's exactly what we want you to practice. When you listen to English, don't worry if you miss a few small words. Focus on the stressed words, the ones that carry the meaning. That's how you'll understand the overall message.
You know, Ollie, I think we should also talk about something important. Some learners feel embarrassed or frustrated when they don't understand everything. But that feeling isn't helpful. It actually makes listening harder because you get nervous.
That's so true. If you're worried about being perfect, you can't relax. And when you can't relax, you can't listen well.
So we need to change our expectations. We need to accept that we won't understand everything, and that's completely okay.
Right. Even in your native language, you don't always catch every word. Sometimes someone mumbles, or there's background noise, or you're distracted for a second. But you still understand the conversation because you focus on the main points.
Exactly. So give yourself permission to not be perfect. Your goal is to communicate and understand the main idea. That's what really matters.
And here's something encouraging. Every time you practice listening, even if you don't understand everything, you're still improving. Your brain is learning. It's getting familiar with the sounds, the rhythm, the patterns of English.
Yes, it's like learning to play an instrument or learning to cook. At first, it feels difficult and strange, but the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. And one day, you'll realize that you're understanding so much more than before.
So let's do a quick review of what we've talked about today. First, we learned that you don't need to understand every single word when you listen to English.
Right. Instead, focus on the stressed words. These are usually the nouns, the verbs, the adjectives, the words that carry the main meaning. They're the louder, stronger words in a sentence.
And when you focus on the stressed words, you can understand the gist, the overall idea. That's your first goal. Get the main message and don't worry about every detail.
We also talked about how English has a special rhythm. Some words are stressed, some are not, and this creates a pattern. When you start to hear this rhythm, listening becomes much easier.
And we learned that native speakers use strategies too. They use context to help them understand. They guess when they need to. They don't panic when they missed a word. They just keep listening.
We also gave you some practical tips. Write down the stressed words when you practice. Listen to longer content without pausing. Try listening without subtitles sometimes. And most importantly, listen to English every day, even if it's just 20 or 30 minutes.
And remember to change your expectations. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to understand the main idea. That's what real communication is about.
So, our wonderful listeners, we hope this conversation has helped you today. We hope you feel more confident about listening to English. It's not about catching every word, it's about catching the right words.
And we want you to practice this. Today or tomorrow, listen to something in English. It could be a song, a video, a podcast, anything you enjoy. And just focus on the stressed words. Notice which words sound stronger. Try to get the gist first.
And if you want to practice with us, leave a comment and tell us one sentence using stressed words. You could say something simple like, I practice English every day, or I'm learning to listen better. We'd love to hear from you.
Yes, please share with us. And remember, every time you practice, you're getting better. Be patient with yourself. Enjoy the process. You're doing great.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of Podcasts with Ali and Aiza. We really appreciate you being here with us.
Keep practicing, keep listening, and we'll see you in the next episode. Take care, everyone.
Bye for now.